So guys, today we are going to be checking out the Season 3 Episode 2 preview. There was a live stream last night, kind of late for us, so we haven't really fully watched it. It was like a 3-hour long. We wanted to check it out here throughout this video with you guys. And there is a lot going on. We are going to get a lot of stuff on November 6th. First, we are getting a new dungeon called the Supermassive Receptor Dungeon. With this, I'm assuming it's a big excuse for them to continue with the main story of the game, with Karel and Alpha being kidnapped and everything. And then here we can see that we have a Colossus like hanging from the wall. I think that's the right.
Yeah, they talked about this dungeon a little bit. It's going to be massive, I mean, like the name says. And then they talked about having these mounted colossi on the walls to make it feel almost like overwhelming. So I think the dungeon is going to be a spectacle. I think it's going to look cool, probably. And then they did say something about different mechanics, like you're on like moving platforms or something. I'm not sure. I like I said, I just kind of listened to it real quickly, but there should be some different mechanics. And then they obviously have the boss at the end that's like got these
Tentacles.
These tentacles hanging out of him, which could be kind of cool. It looks really cool. I'm actually excited for it. Whether it's good or not, I don't know, but it looks really cool.
It looks promising for now. And of course, we have a new Descendant Harris. If you guys remember correctly, she almost got killed in the last part of the story. And I don't know if that was because she almost got killed or she was already a Descendant or what, but now she's part of the Descendant group. This new Descendant is a toxic Descendant, and she also has tech and fusion skills.
So first, they kind of go over her passive. And it's interesting because they did mention it, that she's kind of a close quarters combat Descendant. And she will be stronger with the swords because her passive, it says depending on the stage of toxin accumulation, it reduces cooldown, but then increases defense and increases melee weapon and skill power with her passive. So they clearly want to keep going with the swords. The new one looks really cool. We'll kind of go over it, but yeah, well, hopefully they do some work to the swords, and then it looks like Harris could be really good with them too.
Her first skills is tech. It's called Crashing Charge. And this one seems like she's doing some kind of like dash and punching forward.
Yeah, she attacks enemies with her exo arms, and it says, the developer said it too, but the second strike would deal more damage. I don't know if that keeps going, because they kind of do like a 3-hit combo, so I don't know if it's just 2 hits and then it resets, or if it's 3 and then the third one would do even more. I don't know, but for sure the second strike will deal increased damage.
The second skill is also tech, and it's called Sight Intrusion.
Now with this skill, she jumps forward. This kind of reminds me of like Ajax's ground pound, or even, I mean, she can cover a big distance. You can see that you can kind of do it on your feet, or if you like go forward, she can almost fly. But it says she jumps and strikes enemies, and then it grants a protective barrier proportional to the number of enemies you hit. So very much a close quarters thing, kind of like Ajax, or even like a Kyle's shield bash or whatever. This one seems pretty cool too.
Her third skill is a fusion one. It's called Designate Danger Zone. And this one seems to be like almost every Descendant have at least one of these, where you put a circle and that circle's doing some damage, or something like that, at least.
It kind of reminds me of like Luna's circle or Bunny's circle. It's really similar, but it says it consumes toxin to deal damage to nearby enemies, and you gain a movement speed buff. I don't know if that movement speed buff, like if that's just for you, or if it's other Descendants that are inside the circle. I don't know, but for sure I think you gain a movement speed buff.
She doesn't put it on the ground, it follows you around. You have this circle around yourself, so it's more like you said, like Luna. And her last skill is also fusion. It's called Waste Disposal. And this one was a bit tricky to find gameplay because it looked like it changed a tiny bit with one of the Descendant, but it seems to be some kind of like laser.
It says fires lasers from the exo arms to deal damage to enemies and gain a defense increase buff. And this skill's like, they didn't like display this one as much, but the first time it kind of seemed a little bit underwhelming, but then they had like a second version of it and it seemed a lot better. But yeah, I don't know, we'll just have to try her, but it's still cool. So with Harris, there's a couple things I wanted to say here at the end. So she doesn't use MP. She doesn't consume MP, and it says that you can farm for her blueprints and rare basic materials in the new dungeon. So you're gonna get her through the dungeon, similar to like the Void Vessel. And then I kind of wanted to talk just a little bit about her Transcendent cards. So because this does affect like her force skill. Focused supervision time. It says some stuff, I don't really care, but the main thing was waste disposal. It says it changes it to a continuously emitting laser beam that consumes toxin. So I think that is a Transcendent card that will make that force skill better. And then she has another one, safety training time. Sight intrusion, which would be her second skill. It grants a stronger protective barrier, and then designate danger zone changes to a single-use area damage skill, but converts to a buff skill that grants protective barrier to allies. So those would be her two Transcendent cards.
And now, guys, before we move into the next thing, if you notice in the bottom, we can see Pioneer's Resolution. I believe that is one of the new Ancestors modules.
So this module, for a little bit, you were saying you thought maybe it could be like put over the other ones. No, I don't think it works like that. It specifically says it can be installed in any of the 10 module slots. So it's not a trigger module. It's not a Transcendent module. It's in one of the regular slots, and it says it follows the same capacity and socket type rules as any existing module. So you would have to put this one in instead of like increase HP or whatever, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it says here at least. And then it says, because they're like re-rolling it, that's what makes these different. You can have up to 4 options, and then when there are just when there are 2 options, they can roll with higher values. And when there's one negative option generated, the maximum value of positive options increases, because you can get a negative roll on it, like you can lower your defense or something, but then everything else will be even better. And then these, you can't farm these like all the time. Daily acquisition is limited and can be obtained through operational area world quest completion, wall crasher elimination, Sigma sector completion, ETA shop, all that stuff. So I don't know if you can continuously farm these. I don't know if you're limited per day or per week or how that goes. But yeah, this is interesting. I think this is a different way to look at builds and adds more build diversity.
Next up is going to be the new trading system. The only 2 things you are going to be able to trade, at least so far in November 6, is the trigger modules and the new Ancestors module as well. There is an app, and I don't know if it's going to be in the one you already have or not, where you can be able to see who is trading these specific modules, and you're going to be able to contact the seller and basically purchase this from a different player. The only problem is that you have to physically both together be in the game at the same time to be able to do the trade. And clearly, there's going to be some caliber fee involved.
So the trading system, it can only be used, you have to complete a trade-related quest to get this to go, and then you have to meet required mastery rank conditions. So it's not like you can do it right away, which is fine. I'm not surprised. And then you said about the caliber, that is 100% true. Trading is only possible with caliber, and a 10% transaction fee will be deducted. So you can only do this with like real money, basically. I know it's an in-game currency, but real money, and it's pretty limited. I don't think you can just trade anything. Like, for example, existing trigger modules, but not the 3 new ones that they're going to be adding. That's like an example of the trading. I don't think you can just drop any parts, which is fine, because then you're like ruining a big chunk of the game. So I didn't really care about this, and I know some people have talked about it with Warframe, how Warframe works. I don't really know, but yeah, you know, it doesn't bother me. I think it's fine. It just, I'm a little surprised they did the caliber thing, but you know, it's whatever. If you want it bad enough, you'll fork over the money.
Yeah. Coming on November 6th as well is the 3rd sword, the Hypernova. First, it moves really quick, it reminds me to the Shadow, but let's see what it does when you have enemies. There, you can throw it. I think that is a special ability of the sword. So with the Shadow, we have that dash forward, that upright toe, and then with the big heavy one, the Deus Ex, we had the big overhead attack. The special attack of this sword will be that you can throw it.
Yeah, this sword reminds me of the Shadow as well. It has conditions. So it says that the normal attack, it delivers rapid consecutive strikes, and after a 7-hit combo, and then like you said, the special attack is where you throw it and applies toe.
And we also get in the Hive Master Ultimate Tactical Rifle. This weapon has multi-hit damage. When you shoot an enemy, it applies like this flying bug on top of his head that shoots like beams to the enemies around. So that's a multi-hit. It feels like it's made with organic materials. and it shoots insects, basically.
Yeah, you can farm this weapon through the supermassive receptor dungeon. So you'll have Harris and then the weapon, similar to like a Descendant, the dog in the void vessel. And like you said, it shoots bugs that attach to enemies, and it causes the affected enemies to deal damage to nearby targets. So it's almost like lightning. This thing looks really cool. I'm actually really excited for this one. Hopefully it's fun. It looks fun. But yeah, I think they did a really good job with it.
There is a ton more in this live stream that you guys can check out. There is new modules that are coming for the swords, external component sets, mutant cells, trigger modules, but also some balancing, right, mister?
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of balancing. So Haley and Glay are going to get some improvements. I'm not going to get into them detailed here, but Haley and Glay specifically were mentioned. There'll probably be some other ones. And then they're also doing some other balancing and to like the Void Erosion Purge, challenge difficulty, revamp, photo mode, stuff like that. But the one that really stands out here, aside from Haley and Glay, is so Serena has had some problems. She's just really strong, and I think they're scared to release something that strong now because they don't know what to do about it. But they are doing one thing, and for Wall Crasher, they're going to rebalance him. The balance adjustments will be made to reduce the gap between Serena and skilled Descendants by adding multi-hit defense capabilities to the Wall Crasher and adjusting HP. So they're reworking him to get rid of some of the dependence on Haley. And I know you don't have to, or not Haley, Serena. I know you don't have to use Serena, but a lot of people do. It's really easy. It's kind of a boring fight. They're trying to change that. So there's going to be stuff like that coming. We know they're doing the Bayonetta collaboration, and in the beginning we weren't really sure at first if we thought this was going to be like an actual Descendant that you were going to have to pay for or whatever, maybe, because I would have been surprised if it was free. But it does seem that it's just a skin. It's just a skin, similar to the one they did before. So yeah, that's kind of there are some other things, but that was kind of some of the stuff that we just kind of didn't really skip over, but I just didn't really feel like getting into this. The things we went over were the big main ones that we were most interested in.
One of the things I'm most excited about is the continuation with the main story. I want to know what is going on with Alpha, Corel, and the new dungeon.
I agree. I think the supermassive, the new dungeon, Harris, and the new rifle, I think it takes orange ammo, it takes the tactical ammo. Those and the new modules, the ones that you can reroll, the Ancestors modules. That's what I'm really interested in. I'm curious how much the Ancestor modules are going to affect builds and change builds and whatnot. So that's what I'm most excited for. And one thing I want to add before because we kind of forgot to, they talked about at the very beginning. They actually opened the stream with it was the swords. They acknowledged
with the long issues, stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I think they know that we are disappointed with the performance of the swords.
Yeah, they acknowledge that the sword's current performance does not meet expectations of the player base. I think they're talking about themselves too, but you're the ones that made it. So I don't know how you can say that, but it doesn't meet the players' expectations. So they're going to be monitoring them and improving them. They're adding modules. I think you actually did say that. They're adding modules to... because you can get those things to do huge amounts of DPS and stuff, but they just... you talk about build diversity, but everybody, kind of generally builds in a similar direction. So I don't know how much that's going to fix it, but they're wanting to add build diversity to the swords and make them better and make them more fun. They want to make the farming better. The farming was really bad for a mediocre weapon. And then they talked about the sword pass and whatever. And they apologized for the disappointment and all this crap and whatever. But that sword pass was ridiculous. It was trash, and it was more than the regular battle pass. It just not good. It was not good. So I really hope it's a weird direction to go with the game in general. But, with Harris being more of a close quarters melee, she gets the buff from 4 melee with the way she's just built with her skills in the game. They're not giving up on it. I don't think they're going to quit. I just hope they can find a good ground. Right now, my biggest problem is heavy rounds, heavy ammo, and not really being able to have enough. I feel like I never really can do anything with it because I'm just out of ammo. The green ammo, I don't really have a problem with. Probably the tactical round ammo I won't really either with the new sword, but the heavy rounds, I just don't like that it's tied to ammo. They'd have to figure out a new way to balance it, I guess, but I just don't like it. And I'm never gonna like it. But I'm glad they acknowledge it, and hopefully there's some good changes coming.
My complaint with the swords, aside from the grind being kind of tedious and taking so long because you have to open so many boxes to get the stupid materials, is that it doesn't feel like it's inserted in the game in a way that it works with our skills, not just pure damage. So we have it in the arcade tuning. We have some maybe specific modules that are going to be better for the swords. I'm just hoping they can implement the melee attack damage into the Descendants builds as well.
The only thing I want to say at the very end before we wrap it up completely is Harris is like, that's not my Harris. I don't know where our Harris was, but this Harris is like a totally new reincarnation of Harris because she don't look the same. She don't look the same at all. It's totally different. Like when they totally redid Twitch from Rainbow Six Siege.
I think you
Harris
can get they talk about getting the original overalls with the long ponytail and the goggles skin.
No, they showed it. You can get it. I'm just saying that they just completely redid her. Well, I know why, but it's just...
A glow up. They gave her a glow up, basically. So guys, that was everything for today's video. Let us know down in the comments how you feel about this preview. And thank you so much for watching.